Hello and welcome to the Series B podcast. I'm your host, Greg Pokricki. Your guests today are Elle and Al, co-founders of Twipes, a biodegradable, flushable butt wipe. They won the 43 North competition a few years back, moved from the UK to Buffalo, and have seen massive success since. The last 2 years, they've seen 100% revenue growth year over year. And just a couple weeks ago, they announced an exciting new partnership with Walmart.com and Amazon. We get into all that and more throughout the episode. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy. All right, Elle and Al, thank you both very much for joining us today. So really appreciate your time. For the uninitiated, Elle, why don't you tell us, what is Twipes?
So Twipes are the world's first truly flushable and truly biodegradable wet wipe. We have created biomaterial that breaks down in water within 3 hours and breaks down in landfill within 7 days.
Awesome. And tell us a bit about your background, each of you. And Elle, you can start, and a little bit about how you came to find each other and choose to start a company together.
A mutual friend of ours sat us down over breakfast and told us that he had blocked his toilet 3 times that year. I was just coming out of first undergrad doing biomed, went back to school to do material and chemical, but I was doing material and chemical science as a hobby, for fun. So that's my background. And Al, would you like to talk about your background as well?
I think you are far too humble. This young lady is an award-winning, incredible scientist. She's
That
a black
came much
business.
later. That came
She's
much
a
later.
Black Business Award winner. She's a Princess Diana Award winner. She's a Forbes 30 under 30 listee. She's one of the most incredible humans that I know, besides inventing the product. And she's also my friend. So now that's my most prized award, is to be able to claim you as my friend. I'm just a giant cheerleader in this company. All I do is bring the laughs and the goofs to the company.
Al is also being humble. His background, he's a serial entrepreneur. Our mutual friend actually started a business with Al beforehand. So straight out of college, he started a business, did very well, exited with L'Oreal, worked with BA. He's done it all. He's done a lot of serial entrepreneurship. So don't let his goofy exterior fool you. He is very, very switched on.
This is part of the company culture. Everybody's so
course.
humble and deferential. So Elle, you talked about your background in material science. What was the breakthrough that got you to feel like you had something truly unique in this product?
So it's going to sound really strange. I was doing this not for fun, but just to see if I could do it. I've spent a lot of time over my life being like, can I do something? Can I learn how to skate? So I did, and then I did it professionally. Can I learn how to pole dance? And then I did. So I was like, let me see if I can do this. And so I basically went back to my lab tech that I graduated, after I graduated, and I said, can I use the lab? And after some bribery and some sort of back and forth with him, he was like, yeah, go ahead. And I tore apart a bunch of wet wipes because I'm obsessed with the environment. I knew that wet wipes didn't flush. And I was like, let me see what I can do. And eventually I managed to get this biomaterial, get this sort of cellulose, which is the same thing that toilet paper is made out of, and a binder, put them together, and the product worked. And I got I guess to say we got lucky is one thing, but I worked really hard. There's thousands of wet wipes, thousands and thousands of wet wipes fall apart. But whilst I was working on that, I was seeing if it was viable. He was going in the background and searching up grants and making sure that this was an actual business, because the key question is essentially, if we are doing this and we're a small team of 2, both working full-time jobs elsewhere, why hasn't a big company like Cottonelle or Dude Wipes or whoever, why haven't they started doing this already?
Yep. And Al, what'd you find in that research? What gave you the validity to feel like, yeah, let's go do this, and no one else really is?
I think at the end of the day, it became a numbers game, and it's, the wet wipes industry, it's a $30 billion industry, $28 billion, but, I like to round up because it sounds better. But it's a huge industry, and for all those big players, it's cheaper for them to market a product as something and to get out of it rather than actually inventing a product. So and this is not libel because you can Google this. If you Google the phrase Cottonelle settlement, in every single calendar month, there is a Google story about them having a settlement out of court for the Cottonelle wipes not being flushable. Because for them, it's just cheaper to do like a quick settlement, pay $2 million in fines to a city or a county, than it is for them to admit that their billion-dollar enterprises are not actually what they say they are. I'm on a high. I'm on a podcast. I feel like a celebrity.
You're famous. From the stage at Shays with 3,000 people to the Zoom call with us three.
We've made it. This is the peak.
This is the only stage that matters, obviously.
Yeah. Indeed.
Right now. Yes. So Al, as you started to scale the company, like you kind of had this breakthrough, felt like you were both onto something pretty significant that some of these giant brands really like weren't doing. How did the market start to respond, both to like the product breakthrough, but also from a branding perspective, like the environmental and sustainable pitch that you were able to make beyond or behind the product?
This is actually hilarious because we finished research. So we started the company in 2015 and we finished research and development, had like prototypes done, passed safety testing, allergy testing, child testing, like all of that. So we had a finished product in December of 2019. Now, I'm not sure if you remember what happened in 2020. We like to forget about it. We like to pretend 2020 didn't happen. But 2020 was a crazy time to try to be like, okay, we're launching a new wet wipe. Because it was like everybody was. And it was like raw material costs were through the roof. And everybody else who was already producing the same raw materials was using it now for PPE, for face masks and gowns and all this medical stuff. So we took pre-orders. Oh, correct me if I'm wrong. We took pre-orders in December or was in November? Like, it was that Christmas campaign,
It
right?
was November, just before Christmas.
Yeah. So we
Just
started
before
taking
Christmas.
pre-orders for Christmas. Yes. It was November of 2019. We started taking pre-orders. We got just about 2,000 people to give us some money, saying to them, hey, we're launching in 2 months. Then pandemic starts in March or April of 2020. We basically had to go back to everyone and say, hey, we're so sorry. You know that thing that you prepaid for in Christmas? We can't do it. We everybody who had a phone number, we called them. Everybody else we emailed. We literally contacted me and Elle, and we had a volunteer on our team at the time as well. We split up between the three of us and we literally contacted every single one saying, hey, we're so sorry. With everything going on in the world, we actually can't make this product. But if you stay with us, we'll give you 2 years supply for the price that you paid. Because we knew eventually we were going to get out of it. We just had to weather this period. Prices will come down, raw material costs will come down, and we can actually make it. So we did. And we waited. And then in 2021, we actually launched a product, and I think we lost 4 customers out of the 2,000, less than 1% churn, who had prepaid for a product. So it was incredible to have that belief in us, but it was also a thankful, helpful time that everybody was suffering through COVID. So it wasn't like they were like, why are you suffering? And then 2021, we launched in the UK. It was a good sized growth. We set up an office over there. We started doing D2C, direct to consumer online in the UK. And then in October of 22, pitched at Shays here in Buffalo. And in 2023, I believe April of 2023 was 4/4. It was 4/4 was a special day. It was April 4th, 2023. We launched in America.
That's incredible. So once you made it through kind of the pandemic scare, right, and started to feel established and launched in the UK again, you just detailed like, set your sights on America and through that Buffalo. How'd you find like the 43 North competition? What were your perceptions of Buffalo? Had you been here? Like, I'm sure you didn't think in your head like, oh, I have to be in Buffalo at that moment. You were probably just thinking about launching in a bigger market here in the US. But how did you find your way to what brought you here today?
So I believe Al has this exceptional talent of finding opportunities and money and pitching opportunities. And he said to me, he was like, we're going to be in America. He said, America's a bigger market. We need to be in it. And he said, okay. So it was actually my birthday when I pitched at Shays. So it was on my birthday, I pitched for 43 North, which I wasn't expecting, but it was very exciting all the same. And he was the perception I got. I mean, I've never been to America. It was one of excuse me, it was my first time going to America, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I just knew it was a large place and there were people, and I was like, okay, it's not going to be like London. I think Al puts it very well when he talks about being a big fish in a smaller pond, and the community of Buffalo, what really comes together for me. I feel like we have met some incredible people. We've spoken to people, and because it's so close knit, and because everyone's so, whether it's 43 North or just the regular people of Buffalo, everyone's very close knit. So if you know someone, chances are there's no 6 degrees of separation. There's more like 2 or 1 degree of separation. So it's always good because you can access people when you need them. If you need them for something, whether it's, I need help baking a cake, I'm wondering who can help me move house. And there's always someone who's like, yeah, I've got a car, or I've got a van, or I know someone with a van, I can help you. And I think that is something that you just don't get enough of in bigger cities in general, but in London in particular, it can feel quite lonely.
Al normally complains about that because he can't wear sweatpants to the grocery store.
This is so true. Yeah, I feel like in London, on any given day, you can wear sweatpants. You can wear like a hoodie and just hide. And I feel like I do that once in Buffalo, and people catch me. It's I can't do anything here. I got to be on best dress every day.
Well, you got the suit today, so you're good. Good to go. So obviously everybody knows the story. I think it's well told enough. You pitch at Shays, win, move to Buffalo, and have really been like some of the rock stars of the portfolio since, and are such great like advocates for Buffalo, having moved here with really like no connection before. Talk to us about like what your initial experiences were when you moved here, both the ecosystem and also just personally. Like obviously it's a very different place, but how was that experience?
Do you want the good and the bad? Do you want them all together? How...
Everything. Do it all.
We moved here, so we won the competition in obviously October of 22, and then the first week we were here, as individuals, not before we set up the company in America, was December of 22, and it was the week after, was the week of that historic snowstorm that Buffalo had, which obviously many people lost their lives and stuff, but that was our first experience of like actually being in Buffalo. We're like, holy smokes, this is winter in Buffalo, like what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Then our first Bills game was Cincinnati, and it was the Damar Hamlin incident. And then 3 weeks after that, I finally signed the lease. I wasn't living in the hotel room anymore. I signed the lease, got an apartment. First day in my apartment, Buffalo had an earthquake in February of 2023. So I definitely had like a jump in at the deep end. Buffalo's going to give you a warm welcome.
So we can blame you for
yes,
some of that?
Pretty much. If I hadn't been here, none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the people of Buffalo are incredible. Like, I know it's anecdotal, but every anecdote I have is everybody in Buffalo is so friendly and so kind and so helpful. It really is a city of good neighbors. Heck, this past week, me and Elle were stuck in DC. We had a flight get canceled. We were at the airline desk trying to figure it out, and the airline's like, no more flights to Buffalo tonight. You're going to have to wait it out in the airport, or we can fly you to Rochester. And we're like, all right, put us to Rochester. We'll rent a car. We'll get a bus, whatever. We'll figure it out. We're on the flight to Rochester. Happened to also meet another person who was also on the canceled Buffalo flight. We become friends. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be driving. Let's share a car together. And we did. And it was, that really doesn't happen in other cities. I got to be honest. In New York City and London, a random person, you say to them, hey, I got stuck here. They're going to be like, good luck, figure it out. I'm not sharing a car with a stranger.
They're very much like, sucks to suck. I'm sorry. Like, bye.
Yeah.
So the fact that Buffalo is like so helpful and friendly and everybody wants to see you win, it's incredible. It really is a city of good neighbors.
Yeah. Well, and since you've been here, you guys have seen quite a bit of success. I know we reported in Series B a couple weeks back some of the exciting news about the revenue growth that you've seen. I think it was like 100% both of the last 2 years, which is awesome. A ton of success in the subscription kind of model, which is really exciting. And then you just announced an exciting new partnership or announcement with Walmart and Amazon. So Al, why don't you tell us a little bit about like the process of pitching them, trying to kind of go through that and how it feels to, have made it out on the other side.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey the last few years. We were mainly focused on partnerships, and it was really this year, like the end of 2025 going into 2026, we were like, okay, let's start focusing on some retailers now. We've been doing a lot of partnerships, we've been doing a lot of D2C, let's focus on this. And we came upon this incredible program by Walmart called Open Call. And what it is, they hold 8 contests around the country in all the different regions. And very much like 43 North, like Shays, you pitch to them. And if they like your product, they put you through. And we've been incredibly fortunate in that the buyer actually loved our product, loved us as individuals, and was like, I believe in you guys. Gave us some feedback, some things we need to improve, our manufacturing, our ops, etc. But said to us, I believe in you guys. I want to see you guys go forward with this, and gave us what they call the golden ticket to go through to Open Call and get through. So it's been an incredible journey. We're super, super proud of that. From that, we've now launched on June 9th on Walmart.com, as well as that same weekend we launched on Amazon. So that's been awesome. And it was way less scary than we thought. I don't know if Elle was to talk about like the talking to the buyers, but we were going into it like nervous, shaking, like
Yeah,
it was way less scary.
we went in thinking it was going to be another pitch competition, and it's actually a testament to 43 North, because it was actually a team that helped us sort of whilst we were practicing. We sort of said, hey, is it all right if we sit down and practice with you, to sort of get their feedback and their help for this Walmart pitch? They were very, very helpful. They sat us down and said, listen, this isn't a pitch competition. You're not on a stage this time. You're talking to 1 or maybe 2 people in the room. Your best bet is to give them this information, but don't do it in such a showy way. And the feedback that we were given really helped us. It sort of calmed the nerves a little bit, but really helped us like understand and get into the mindset of a buyer.
What's the breadth of the partnership then? Like, where are people going to be able to find Twipes that they weren't before?
Well, if we get to the end, when we get through and we win, they'll be able to find us in Walmarts, hopefully across America. But it's all about how we deploy. It might be at 80 stores, it might be 200 stores, but it's a big jump for us.
That's incredible. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's huge growth. Right now, as of the moment of recording this, we're only in 8 stores. So it's going to be a huge jump for us. It's just we have between now and the final day to figure out the supply chain side of things, which is where we're struggling. But hey ho, it's a good problem to be having.
Yeah, certainly. And on that topic, can you tell people, beyond this exciting new partnership, like what's next for Twipes? What are you guys focused on? I know in the Series B piece recently, you mentioned supply chain and trying to maybe onshore some manufacturing. So can you tell people about some of those plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, Twipes are raising. We're trying to raise for a Series A, which I know sounds funny because we're on the Series B newsletter, but trying to raise for a Series A round. And basically, it is exactly for that, for onshoring our manufacturing. At the moment, Twipes, although our core team is here, our ops team is here, our finance team is here, our marketing team is here, all in Buffalo, our manufacturing is still outsourced. So it's a matter of onshoring that back again, ahead of, and also having more control over our supply chain, so that when we get these opportunities like Walmart, suddenly we can go, yeah, it's great. We own our own facility. We can just launch in Walmart. We don't have to figure out all of this. So that's what we're currently raising for. It's a incredibly exciting time for us, but it's also a nervous time because it's like, oh no, we have all of these customers now we have to fulfill with like big retail orders. But I think it's a super exciting problem for us to be having.
Is that something you would look to onshore in the U.S. broadly or Buffalo specifically?
Specifically in Western New York, yeah. I don't know if it would necessarily be the city of Buffalo, but it will definitely be in Western New York. I think there's so much of a manufacturing space here, ecosystem. I'm not sure what the right word for it is, but we've seen distribution facilities, we've seen old factories. Heck, we've seen buildings that we're like, this is perfect. It's just the owner doesn't want to sell it. But there's so much opportunity here. Why look elsewhere? Why set up a hub somewhere else in America when our whole team is here?
Yeah. And there's a lot of other successes like that in the 42 North portfolio, obviously. Cav, some of the food like CPG type brands that have been in there. So
Top
There's
Seeds,
certainly been a path.
Food
Yeah.
Nerd. Yeah, there's so many. We're following the blueprint, that's for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, super excited to hear about all of the success that you guys have had. Really appreciate your time hopping on and joining the podcast. Before I let you go, we are ending on a segment that we call Last Call. So a couple hard-hitting, quick questions to get you out of here. I'll pose the question. We'll go Elle answer, then Al, then back to me.
Okay.
First question, what is your favorite productivity tool right now?
Productivity tool. Oh, that is a great question. I've gone back to my roots as a little child who was, and it's no app, it's nothing. It's me setting incremental alarms that go off. And I normally go off on my watch. I don't have my watch today, but it's incremental of alarms of like maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes where it's like, now you're doing this, now you're doing that. And that is something that has been instilled in me since I was a child. 7 o'clock, wake up for school, 7:05, go and shower, brush teeth, like all of these things. And I've realized I've got a little bit lazy, so I started doing that again.
Mine is Whisper, because I'm a yapper and I talk a lot. And there's this app called Whisper. It's an AI where you just talk to it, and it's better than Dragon. It's better than dictation tools. It's incredible. I just talk to it, and then it builds me out lists of here's everything you talked about. Here's what you need to do. Here's the follow-ups you need to send. It's like a personal assistant, but it's just me just yapping into my phone.
That's why you're so good at like wishing people happy birthday and stuff. I feel like I get some really personalized, sweet, caring note from you, like one a month or something after we talk.
You know what? We'll talk, and we'll be hanging out one day, and you'll be like, Friday's my birthday, and I'll just take Whisper, and I'll be like, Friday's Greg's birthday. Then the next year on that same day, it will remind me.
There we go. That's impressive. All right. I like it. All right. So you guys are on a podcast right now, the Series B podcast. When you are listening to podcasts yourself, what speed are you listening to them at?
Normal speed. I like to
1x?
take in everything that's happening. I like it when I'm driving, when I'm on a long drive, or when I'm on a long walk. I'll listen to a podcast.
Do you know what? I've recently got used to running and letting my running pace set the speed. So if I'm sprinting, like, so I'll do 5-minute sprints, I'll put it on 1.5x. But if I'm just walking, I'm just at 1x. I'm letting it dictate my running speed because it really pushes me. It's psychological.
I like that. Yeah. Elle, what's your go-to coffee order?
Mine, oat milk latte, hot. But I've been having the iced lattes because it's been warm here.
Mine is just very normal, very basic, just black coffee with a little bit of cream. Just normal coffee, cream, no sugar.
All right. What's a book or a TV show that you would recommend to our listeners?
Oh,
You've really put us on the spot here.
I know.
what?
You at least get some time to think. She's got to go
Yeah.
first.
I don't know how to read, Greg. I don't know what to tell you. I've never read anything in my life. I just pretend. Like,
Right.
everyone keeps buying me books for Christmas, and I'm like, I don't know how to read. I've
Audiobooks.
got no idea.
Please keep this in. Do not edit this out. This is hilarious.
This is in.
Like, imagine doing all this business. I've just been pretending this whole time. I have no idea. I don't know. Go to Al on this one.
A book I would highly recommend. It's by Mark Donnelly, PhD, former professor at UB, now retired, now author. It's The Tinkle Fairy's Guide to Powdering Your Nose. And it is a book all about, my copy here is signed. It is a book all about the history of the toilet and how it came to be. And it's definitely not just saying that because we're a butt wipe company. It's just an incredible book all about the history of the toilet.
You had it within an arm's length away.
Ready
Never
to
leaves
roll.
your side. Yeah.
He takes it often with him on his travels to the loo.
You know, I was on a first date once and I carried it with me and the person was so confused, but I was like, this is always have it with you. You never know when you need a guide.
On brand. All right. Elle, you got one or are we skipping you?
We're going to have to skip me for now. I'm trying to think of a TV show.
All good.
Well, I can tell you my favorite film or like a very good film, but
That'd be
it's not
great.
really groundbreaking. It's Utopia, and I think it's an incredible film. I think it
That's
teaches
perfect.
children all about discrimination and how to deal and how to like overcome certain things and how to believe in yourself, even though you might not enter into a space that you may not be welcomed at, but to keep persevering. And
All
I think
right.
it's a great
Well,
film.
I gotta ask now, if you were a Zootopia character, who would you be, Elle?
I think I'd be Idris Elba's character, the big buffalo. I'd just be that. That would be me. That I embody him. Like I'm
I'm the
grumpy.
tiny mafia mob boss. He's like a hamster,
Oh my
and he's
gosh.
tiny, but he's like a mafia mob boss. It's who you
All right.
least expect, and I'm just there like, ha.
I've never seen the movie, so I'm gonna go watch it
Greg,
and
that's your
picture.
task for today. You
There
have
you
Yeah, I'm gonna
go.
picture you two as those characters
You
as
have
I
to
see
go
it for the
watch it
first time.
today. It's
All
so
right.
good.
Will do. All right, I got one more for you. You moved across the pond, chose Buffalo, New York as the place. If you go get chicken wings, do you prefer a drumstick or a flat?
Personally, I don't know why you would put two queens against each other. I think that's just heinous. Like I think flats and drums are both delicious. If I really had to pick, it would be a drum.
All right.
Hot
Same here.
take here. Hot take.
You're
Chicken
gonna say
fingers are better than wings.
boneless.
No, fingers. Chicken fingers are so much better. Same price. Like when the places do $1 wings or $1 fingers, I'm like, it's the same price, but I'm getting so much more meat and so much more flavor. This is just a hot take here. I'm like, if I get an option, I'm not choosing wings. I'm picking chicken fingers.
He's gonna start a war in Buffalo, so I would rather you didn't keep that in. He would be
Yeah,
the
we're
British
editing that
Gareth.
part out for
Yeah,
sure.
you should.
Oh,
Don't even
all
get
right.
me started on
Do
the
you know
opinion
what? Put in this bit.
and
Put in
ranch.
this bit. Whatever it is, give me some blue cheese. I'm ready to roll.
All right. You want everybody back right
Yes.
there. All right. Well, thank you both so much for your time. Everything you guys have done here in Buffalo. And like I said, being awesome champions for the Buffalo story. We really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks for having us.